Hello YouTube. This is Blake Smith.
This is Moonman.
Are you going to introduce yourself or not?
So, what do you see immediately with the lineups? They're pretty similar, but except, no they're not. They traded a priest for a marksman.
Yeah.
And they have no Plague Doctor, instead they have a shield maiden.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with a kind of, default called it the Stonewalled Dutch formation, and I think that's a pretty good name for it. I've been using it recently, and it's pretty good.
Okay.
That king move. Bess's king move, she moved it away from the bishop. What do you think the point behind that was?
Well, she was probably thinking to move it up forward towards the marksman, and then realized belatedly that there was a priest in that bush, right?
Oh.
And so she moved it back, and that was a waste of 2 actions.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I think I'm just taking ground here, moving a pikeman up to a better spot. Spending a lot of time thinking about this move.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to think of something useful to say in the early game, but it's really mostly just who can get the most ground at this point, trying to get control of the middle.
Right now, her marksman isn't really presenting her a lot of threats. I don't know why she buffed it there, because movement isn't going to do much for it. And moving the knight into the water there doesn't hinder its further progress.
Yeah.
This is a mistake here. I should probably take 1 more damage on the marksman than back out. But I see the priest there and I get kind of greedy.
Did I just... No, never mind. Yeah. Although it is good to kill the priest early, especially since he only has 1 of them.
Not when it's standing right next to the bishop.
The bishop is right there. Yeah.
It's kind of...
Yeah.
It's very poor to trade units. If you're going to trade units, do it where at least the ground's equal, or it's favorable to you. Because right now I'm losing a priest, I'm losing a pikeman on their side that I'm never going to get a chance to revive for a priest on there. That's going to be revived in 3 turns.
Yeah.
So that's a lesson. Don't trade units on their side.
Yeah. What you could have done is kept pursuing the marksman you'd originally shot at, who's farther away from the bishop. You still could have got some damage in.
Well, I don't know. Either way, I should have just probably moved the pikeman out and taken the damage.
Yeah, you shouldn't have drank, that's for certain.
Deciding on moving the knight in, I think I'm trying to get an attack going, because I'm trying not to admit that my attack was a little rushed.
Also, when you use the priests to protect those 2 marksmen, the one on the left really didn't need to be protected, because who can move there on the next turn to attack it? I don't see a way for any of the marksmen to get a shot at it the next turn or 2.
That's true, that's true.
That action would have been better spent someplace else.
Well, that also helps with the idea that eventually I'm going to want that marksman to be healed, and I might not have the action to do it later. Bessa accidentally priest buff my knight instead of attacking it.
Yeah.
So it's just unfortunate. Sometimes people flub buttons.
Now this is some creative thinking I kind of like, but again, you're taking damage out on the enemy's side with the bishop right there.
Well, that's... If you look at the position of that cactus, it's going to take a long time for that bishop to route around and get to that marksman.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Maybe not with the shield maiden right there to hit the court. Big threats to the king right now. Goes for the priest buff damage. Debuffing the knight. Now the question is, do I hit my knight again?
I think you back out at this point, but I don't remember.
I think I do too. If my marksman was reloaded, I might have considered something about that along those lines. I keep my knight in and offer the trade of units again on their side.
Yeah, and those are your only two of your three really heavy offensive physical units. Because all you had left is the Shield Maiden and then some squishy stuff.
Ooh.
So, I find that whenever you're left with just like Marksman and Plague Doctor against some units that can take damage, as long as you still got the Priest, you'd be in a bit of a bad spot. But I guess it worked out.
This is a very poor trade here. I'm taking damage from that Marksman. Is that Marksman buff the one that's in? Moves it away. Oh, it wasn't reloaded. Now I need to play more carefully. Now that I don't have any strong attackers, I need to find a way to stop them from reviving their unit. And I don't know if that's possible. Right now he's taking the turn just to ride around and try and revive those two units over there that have been stuck out.
If I remember correctly, in my game against Default, that was the first time I saw Marksman being used to stop revives. You had two of them there, so you probably could have used a similar strategy. But...
Maybe. There is a wall of corpses there, so I don't... it's hard to move a Marksman up to deal with that. What I would want to do is I would want them to start the revive, and then move a Marksman in so I could hit their bishop, while he's, you know, immovable.
Yeah.
I don't take this. I don't think I see this opportunity, though. I just see a free damage and I take it. Very blindsided. The option's still there, though. If I move up to that bush right now, the pikeman may get a damage, but that's kind of whatever. I get a kill on the priest. This is a very good strategy. When you're
I think that priest dies like 3 times.
He dies he sees God more than most priests. A bit of tactical error by Besto. I should be dealing with that bishop, but I'm kind of playing on the wrong side of the field. I'm going for a different strategy of dealing with the revive. Instead of dealing with the bishop that's reviving, I'm kind of trying to kill more units than they can revive at a time. Which is an interesting strategy, but when both your power units are dead, it may be a bit lackluster.
Yeah, numerically it just doesn't work. Because to kill a fresh unit, you need to do between 2 and 5 damage, or 2 and 4 in this case. Whereas to revive one, it just takes a couple turns.
That was a mistake. Altogether, that was a mistake to revive that Shield Maiden, as it has no squares. The correct play there was to maneuver a pikeman to punish my marksman for going to finish off the Shield Maiden. Oh, it had a marksman in place.
Yeah, now why did you think for a while before shooting there? What all was going through your head?
It can finish me now. Unless I move there. I was thinking of a spot I could move to where the marksman couldn't finish me if I needed all 3 moves to get my marksman pre-spot.
Okay.
I would have, but in that spot the marksman cannot... I missed it. The marksman can get me. And it does here. It moves to the right. I thought that space had a corpse in it because the king's standing in front of it. This is a very poor position for me, as all my units are over on the left, and the left is very blocked off on this map.
Yeah. Although you do a good job of handling it, I think.
I take a very stout defensive position. There's a free marksman shot over on the left for her, but she doesn't see it.
Oh yeah, I see. Could have shot the shield maiden.
Mm. Maybe she judged getting your units revived as more important.
Hmm.
Here, I don't know if I agree with where that marksman is right now. Because even if it does get back there, it's kind of a rough spot for him.
Yeah.
I should shield my maiden here, and I do. It's under no threat of attack because there's nothing attacking her right now, and there's no way she could break the shield.
Well, she could move the marksman back a step, take a shot.
Well, it's shielded.
Yeah.
There's no, like, the only way you can break a shielded maiden's shield and hit it in the same turn is to have something that's already in attacking range of it. Which is why it's such an annoying class to fight against. Because the opponent needs to put it in a spot where it can get hit.
And I thought she was going to move the marksman to go get the health, but she doesn't, I guess? Like, what do you think was the reasoning for moving out back towards the center when there's a cactus sitting right there?
The marksman going back towards the center?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a brilliant plan. This is to lock down my bishop. If their marksman makes it to that bush in front of it, over on the right, my bishop can never get into the game because it's just under constant threat of fire and it's too slow.
No, I mean the one at the very bottom.
On the very bottom? I'm not quite sure. I didn't quite see it. It is on the very, very bottom. I see. Possibly the plan could be to keep the left locked down even more to avoid any like tactics with the shield maiden going to the left to grab the health thing. Or maybe she plans to move the knight one day. But that marksman on the right is going to be a very powerful piece. It's going to make my bishop completely useless.
Mm-hmm.
This match was of course taken when before the safe timers have been improved. Now with the increased timers, this slot should come more easily in a game and less mistakes like this should happen. I'm thinking of either shooting the corpse or moving to a spot. I decide on shooting the corpse. And I'm thinking... Timer gets low here. I've spent a lot of time thinking this game, which, while important, it might not be the best idea to spend all your time thinking.
Yeah. In fact, towards the end, they'll point it out, she could have stalled you out of time if she hadn't made a mistake in her last turn.
Pikeman walks into a tactical blind. Maybe forgets the priestess there. I think I decided to leave the shield maiden there. I'm gonna need at least 2 turns to maneuver it. Very interesting. I think she's trying to play off my timer and making mistakes. Which is a very poor thing to do. When you're trying to flag somebody on time, you do not want to play off of their time. You just want to make situations that are hard to deal with. You don't want to act like you're the one with low time.
Mm-hmm.
I decided to finish the pikeman here and move my marksman closer to her shielded shield maiden. Along with getting a shot on the priest.
Yeah, it was a bad decision on her part to try and attack with the pike instead of moving back, because she knew she should have known it was not going to launch the attack and could then be attacked immediately back. So, I mean...
That shield maiden she moved in is posing no threat right now. Maybe in 6 turns or so, but I don't plan to leave her there that long. I decided to remove it anyway. Time being a factor, I probably should have just left it there, but... Oh, I see what I was doing. I moved my shield mate in there so I could get a shot in with the Plague Doctor, using this cool tactic.
Yeah, which works rather well.
Again, she's trying to flag me, making her moves a little quicker than she might should. I know that her shield maiden is not shielded right now because of the poison bugs that have been removed. So I know if I hit it, it'll die.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand how that had happened when I watched this before.
No, this is knowledge of how the buffs work and knowing what's a bug and what's not. That should be fixed either soon or it has been fixed.
Okay.
Interesting place for the priest to go, but I think it's gonna die there.
No, the idea was probably in case you move the shield maiden to attack the knight.
Yeah, but it dies here for sure.
And that is its third death.
Back to the dead.
There should be an achievement for something like that.
I don't think it's
How many
supposed
times
to
can you
happen.
make a unit die in one match?
Reloading. Just taking a shot. Poor decision to get the shot in on that marksman there.
Mm-hmm.
But was that buff a wasted action? Because I feel like I didn't realize it was on 1 health. Maybe.
No, I think it had 2. It had 2 health.
But did I priest buff it or I king buff it? Well, who knows? Just doing. There's no reason to attack the knight right now because I'm just kind of blocking it and letting the poison do its work. I'm down to like 37 seconds, so the play gets a little faster. But fortunately, I don't make any big tactical blunders. There's the priest go. The marksman finally moves, ending any plan to move my bishop.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that, I think, right now. If there's any way to deal with that. I'm still body blocking the knight. And the reason I priest buffed that marksman more was I didn't know which was getting revived by that bishop. If it was the marksman, I could have died.
Yeah, I see. That makes a good point.
Just keeping on reviving.
So, if you were best at this point, what would you start to do? What do you think?
If I was best, the best plan right now would be to move that knight out, keep my bishop locked down well, get some pressure on my king to get him out of that spot with the priest, with your marksman, like get him maneuvered. Here I think I accidentally took a shot, but I played it off like I didn't. A king buff it, even though there are, I think later that it shoots through my buff, but I know I can't move my bishop. If I was best right now, the plan would be all the units that can be revived are on her side. I can't use my bishop, so to play it slow and methodical. And of course my time is low, so tactical errors will come that way.
Mm-hmm.
Here I take a shot, but it allows me to kill her knight. The fact that my king is on well health also probably encouraged her to move fast, to try and trick me into making a mistake.
Yeah, but at this point, there's no longer anyone who can possibly reach your king. At least not in the near future. With everything she has attacks diagonal now, so the king just stands by the cactus and he's all safe.
Mm-hmm. This shield meeting getting revived, there's not a lot I can do about it. I can finish off this marksman here, but I think this is a trait of marksman. Yeah. Should not be taking trades right now, especially with my bishop like the way it is. My shield maiden does get in for free though, and with that much health, it will do big damage on all the weak, squishy units that Bess has.
Yeah.
Still reviving. I don't know if that was the best plan, because now our bishop's in kind of a vulnerable spot, and there's no way it's going to finish that revive. My bishop's still locked down, and I'm very woeful about this.
So I think what you should have done in that spot is, instead of attacking with the priest there, before you move your shield maiden, you should have given her the priest buff with the other priest, if you could move him forward.
You see, I thought that I was trying to move the corpse forward so I could maneuver my pieces around better out of the way to get this Plague Doctor in there. But for me, a priest bubble isn't very useful with the shield maiden. I guess the shield kind of does the same thing. And
yeah, but it can give you a chance in the next couple of turns to end your turn on an attack if you need to.
It's true. A unit dies here. Unavoidable. I decide to take the priest, so there's no way that she debuffs it. And there's no way to kill it. There's no way to end the shield maiden either. So we'll get more kills. Trying to flag me still. For those that don't know, in chess, flagging is when you beat somebody on time. But yeah, she's still trying to get me on time. Cannot move my Plague Doctor there yet. I do anyway. Oh, it's priest buff, never mind, I can't move it. I decided to go for that one because it's more mobile than the other one. My timer gets very low, down to 1 second. Or
Yeah,
down to
she really
3.
shouldn't have moved that marksman, I think, because that gives you the choice between them. Whereas
Maybe.
before, you had to choose the one and then walk all the way around to get at the other.
Yes, it's very rough. But again, she is still trying to flag me. Again, timer gets really, really low here. Using hotkeys is very important in situations like these, and it's something I should learn. Hits me for no reason. That gets a damage on her bishop. I know that the marksman's in that bush, but do I remember? I do not.
Nope. Shamey, shamey.
Does need to move it out the way. No, the marksman couldn't have hit me because then her bishop would have died.
Oh, right.
But if I was there, I still would have taken it, honestly.
Yeah, the bishop does nothing else useful at this point.
Oh no, marksman was moved. My bad. Here, the king is in a very precarious spot. This is probably my best chance to finish the game quickly. And that's my best bet right now with time like this. Shield Maiden's 1 health, so I have to play very safe with her. I think she could have killed my maiden there, maybe? I think so. With the marksman in the right bush now. If it was reloaded. I'm gonna assume it's not. Who's the marksman down? I don't know. I don't know if that was the best plan. I guess it's fine, because I still go ahead with the plan I made for if the marksman stayed. But now I'm trying to move my Plague Doctor down to finish the attack on that king.
Yeah, she's trying to get the marksman to get in your way as well.
Marksman dies here.
Vulnerable.
The king's gotta move. I would move it closer to the Shield Maiden, but then that allows some nice tactics with the Plague Doctor. 10 seconds left. Just make my move and go, because I don't really have time to think. I'm trying to, and I can't really do anything else with any of the other pieces. They don't do much. Maybe should have moved my bishop into the game, but I don't know. This tactic's already planned out. So the king is going to go down to 1 health here if it kills the Plague Doctor. If it doesn't, the king goes down lower and dies. So it has to kill the Plague Doctor here. Best play, that was probably it. I have to shield here, or else he dies. Of course, from either the king or the pikeman.
Now here Bess messes up, because she's going to move the pikeman, if I remember right, and attack you, which allows you to attack her.
Yeah. What
If
she
he
probably
doesn't-
should have done is... definitely not that, but just leave the pikeman there and try to maneuver something. Because in my best
If she
option...
left the pikeman in place, then she could have just kept your what do you call it, shield maiden in shield, because if she couldn't do any damage to the priest there or to the king, and if you didn't attack,
I assume I had a plan of action for that. I was going to move closer to the pikeman and then back to the king in like a, walk back and forth so that I have my attack again.
yes, but during your turn she could have just moved the king back up to the shields of maiden, and if you didn't put it in shields, then the pikeman could have attacked you.
Yeah. It's just a very rough situation. With my time that low, she probably should have just stopped a second, because she still had a minute and a half left on the clock, if I remember right. She probably should have just stopped, took a second, realized what situation she was in. But she wasn't playing on her best that day. She is back to form now, though. I played a recent game with her, very close, very good on her end. But both of us were kind of playing off that day. But that is the game that got me to 1,000 elo with the Scholar ring.
Yay!
Thank you. The meme channel isn't gonna like this. Anyway, I'm Moonman, and
I'm Blake.
And yeah, that was our review.
Okay. See you later.